What's up, everyone? Jack from Half Chrome. Today I'm going to talk about this guy again. This is the Tello, and if you haven't heard from me already, it is one of my favorite drones. For about $100, this thing packs a whole lot of awesome features. 720p camera, stabilized, lots of different flight modes, but it doesn't have active track, right? Why would it for $100? And it doesn't follow you, right? Again, for $100, that's a hard thing to get into this package. But you know what? There's an app for that, right? So I got an app on my phone called the Tellome app. And with this app, I can make my Tello follow me and use some active track-like features. So we'll do that. Stay tuned. So this app works with both the original Tello and the Tello EDU, even the Iron Man Tello, right? They're all basically the same thing, and it adds that really neat functionality of having it follow you. It also will do a lock-on orbit, but it does kind of some of that circle stuff anyway. Anyway, the winner here is the follow me, right? That is fantastic, and it really does work kind of well. I'm going to walk you through the app and how that works, and you can kind of see it in action here. But there are a few different options, right? You can have it track your face, and it does a great job of finding your face just on its own. Finding a person, a group, an object, you can kind of decide what it is that you want to follow or to orbit. And then there's even an experimental mode where you can lock on a subject and you can kind of fly the Tello a little bit and get some of that functionality where you fly the drone and it locks on to the subject. So let's take a look at the app and kind of how some of these features work. And you know what? For $4.99, it's a heck of a deal. And you know what? I've got some App Store codes down below for the first couple of lucky people that want to try this out on their Tello, right? It's $4.99. For those two people, it's going to be free. So go ahead and grab those. But you know what? For $5, if you're flying indoors, and you know what? Right now, the governor just closed all the houses in this area. So you're going to be at home spending some time with your Tello. This is a great way to spend some time and have some fun. So let's dive into that app.
Okay, so let's take a look at the app here. Right there in the middle is the take off button. You push that and it will launch. Then it becomes the land button. You do see you have the video, the FPV stabilized video in the middle of the screen there. And on the sides you have your two joysticks. One on the left being your throttle and roll. Throttle and yaw. And then the right one is your pitch and your roll. Much like a standard Mode 1 controller. Now generally I don't like flying with the controller, but this one's pretty good. Then the bottom left you have your tracking features, right? You have a bunch of different options to track, and it does kind of automatically find the subject for most of them. Now I'm in the follow mode here. Along the bottom we have some other options. The first one there with this circle, that is rotate. Then we have profile, it's called, then altitude, then distance lock, then altitude lock, and then horizon lock. I've played around with these. They kind of work, they kind of don't. I think they were kind of backwards, but as you can see here, I'm in the follow mode, and it's doing a pretty good job, actually, of sticking with me here. I'm trying to lose it a little bit. It does a nice job. There it goes. It lost me there. In the upper right-hand corner, that's how you record. Now, you can only record videos here. All right, so here are your options. Face, group. Went quickly. Then we have object. We have person. It does a nice job. There it is. It's got my face. Now, tracking faces is an interesting thing, and I'll show you here later on. It lost me there, found me. So it does a nice job of kind of finding the subject, but it tends to look for the subject by getting closer if it loses it, and that I think is a little problematic, as I'll demonstrate later. But lost it there, found it, kind of comes closer when it's trying to find the subject. But really, this is a fun little app. Now I'm going to switch to the orbit mode, and you can make it go both left or right, which is nice, and then you can change the speed at which it will rotate. So let's do that here. Right, so we're going to bump up the speed to 6. right, which is the fastest it will go. And it's not like a super clean orbit. It kind of does almost like a parabola, or it kind of adds a neat effect a little bit. I think you can actually even move while it is orbiting you, so that's kind of cool. So you can get some kind of pretty unique perspectives, unique videos with this app by just kind of messing around and playing with it here. Now, keep in mind there are no sensors. They're going to make sure you don't hit obstacles. So there's no obstacle avoidance on this thing. And no, they're not going to figure that out with an app. But you can kind of see why that's important here. As I'm going to go into the orbit mode here in a second. And here we go. Let's bump up the speed, send it around. Kind of messing with it here. Let's get it in better position, and then we'll do that. Other things you'll notice, you'll see I do have my battery life on there, just at 59% at this point. But the app, it does a nice job. I do find that this aspect ratio is squished a little bit. For whatever reason, it doesn't, use the full screen. But here we go. We're going to orbit here. No obstacle avoidance. And that matters when they're following trees. So here I am inside. It works really well inside. The video quality here isn't the best because it's dealing with the Wi-Fi noise of my router, which is nearby. But I'm kind of impressed by how well it works. Now, this is the actual feed recorded on the Tello itself, actually on the phone itself, because it doesn't record on the Tello. Now, here is an example of why I'm not a super fan of this face tracking, right? So it's tracking my face, and every time I kind of look away, it gets closer, right? As soon as I look at it, it's like, oh, there's the face. I look away. All right. And it gets closer, like dangerously close. It's creeping on me, right? Ooh, what? Hey. So, you definitely want to make sure you got that under control, because that is not cool. Now, there is another feature in the settings. So if you look in the upper left, you see that gear icon. You can turn on manual mode. You can also get some telemetry if you decide to get all that information on the screen. So you can kind of see what's going on and track the frames per second. That's actually pretty useful. But as you can see, I have the right stick there. So pitch and roll, I can actually have it do follow me or orbit and manually control it a little bit. Again, no obstacle avoidance.
Okay, so this Tellome app was also created by the same guy that made the Tello FPV app. Now, that app was pretty cool because that added a return home feature for this guy. Unfortunately, that was only released for Android, not for iOS. And this one, I believe, is iOS. So there's a difference there. And I think Chris made a video on that, right? Chris, right? Chris was supposed to make a video on that, and you know what? That'll come out soon because we have all that footage. Anyway, that's a pretty cool app. You get a return home feature. Android only. This one, iOS, maybe iOS and Android. I'll have to double check on that, but either way, two cool apps to make your Tello even better.
Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you do and you need a Tello, make sure you use one of those affiliate links below. They certainly help us out. Anyway, good luck, and happy flying that Tello. Have a great day.